Sandy, in its overview, was one of the largest disasters the American Red Cross had responded to.
The total damage in New York was about $41 billion, and in New Jersey, I think $36 billion.
The whole operation, I think nobody understands, except the Red Cross maybe, what a difficult situation responding to an emergency can be.
Because we were also in no power, we had no television, no media coverage. We were kind of in the dark. We didn't know how bad it was.
They weren't even sure whether they were going to get us out right away, because at that point, all the airports into the New York, New Jersey area were shut down.
It's almost impossible for things to work smoothly because of everybody just getting there and just doing their job. And amazingly, out of all that chaos, it happens.
I met a young gentleman, Mexican national, who had lost his job and his home due to flooding. We started talking, we kind of formed a little bond, and then he eventually started helping my team do our daily activities. And then eventually he became a part of our team, and he was up all night with us and doing just as much work as we did. It was just amazing to see someone who had been affected by something so devastating take their time to help others when he was in the same position as them.
My partner and I, because we always go out in teams, introduced ourselves to this woman, and she invited us in and invited us back to meet her son, who was in bed on oxygen. If the electricity went out, the electricity that kept all these life-saving devices would go out as well. Fortunately, she was in touch with the local police and fire, and they very quickly arranged for a generator.
And it wasn't long after we were there that there was a knock on the door, and one of the residents came up and said, "Would you like some coffee?" And I was just amazed. I said, "Well, yeah." She said, "I'm sorry, it's going to be decaf and instant." And I said, "That is so wonderful." And she brought us some hot coffee. You know, in the midst of all this suffering, these women, this person was interested in making our being there a little more comfortable. And that was really great.
And there was a gentleman on the other side of the street. There were 2 lanes of traffic between us and him, and he was older. He kind of reminded me of my dad. And he was rolling up the street in one of those little motorized wheelchairs. And he looked over at me with this haunted look that I will never forget. So I got a meal and 2 bottles of water, and I took him across the street to him. And he said, "Thank you, and God bless you." And as he rolled up the street, he started crying, and the tears were rolling down his face.
They did not have power. Someone came in and said the street lights were on, and the people cheered. So it's little things like that that make an impression on you, that you feel that maybe you're doing something to help.
And what amazed me the most was these people were so open to talking about their experiences. And I realized that I don't think it was as much of because it was me, the person I am, but because of the patch on my vest. People trust the Red Cross, and that was a great responsibility to feel, and it made all of us rise to the occasion and try and do what we could to contribute.
Regardless of where I am, if you sit down and have a conversation with an individual or a family, we all want the same thing: safe place to live, good job, and money to raise our family. And we cut through all that and provide physical and emotional support for families, sometimes in their greatest need and their greatest loss.
But there's some defining moment in every day and on every deployment where you think, okay, this is why I was here. For me, it was the old man in the wheelchair. I knew I was the one to be there to give him that meal that day.
It's wonderful because you're hands-on helping people. It's not sending a check. It's actually putting food in a container, filling it with a meat and a vegetable and some fruit, and handing it to somebody who needs the food. That's incredible, and it's a great feeling.